that clap.
Ha ha. We still got it. We still got it.
Happy New Year.
Happy, happy, happy. There's no Happy New Year song. I was thinking about it in the bathroom when I was getting ready, and I was like, oh man, there's no Happy New Year song.
No, there's something of something like that somewhere. There's got to be.
There's the dancing baby. The New Year's baby. That's like, no.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Nope, don't know.
All right. Well, here we are. Another year. It's 2024.
Right?
Scary. This year could be scary. But yeah, so we thought it's been a minute and we really should get back to this.
You keep going. I'm allowed to be me over here. Come on now.
Let's get into it. Shop talk. Shop talk. Let's do a little shop talk with Anna. It's like, follow, share, subscribe, and share with your friends. Follow us on all our social medias. We have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I don't think we use Twitter at all. Well, X. We don't really use that.
I know. I've got an old account that I keep trying to change to a newer account, and trying to do that poses a little bit of a difficulty to me.
So we have all those fun things. We're also available on anywhere that you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. So yeah, cool. And to you now. Just kidding.
What?
I was like, and back to you.
Oh, goodness. Yes. And in today's news, everything is stupid.
True.
Everyone's racist. We're all going to die soon.
And we're especially racist because we're white. And I guess I'm especially racist because I'm white and a girl. Right? Isn't that the thing?
How could you actually sit there and gender assume yourself?
Right? For real. Dang it. I've been outed already.
Yeah. You're going to get a low ESG score. Or what are those things? Yeah, it's ESG, I think.
I have no idea.
Oh, wow.
I don't keep up with that.
You're going to need to.
I know. But that's what I have you for.
True.
Okay. So yeah, I don't even remember the last time we podcast. It's been months.
And then we had all sorts of craziness happen. We had just unexpected life activities.
And we have a new grandbaby.
That was part of the unexpected life activities.
Well, that was expected, but...
Oh, yes, but I'm talking about the
not
whole...
in the long run.
Yeah, just... There was some... If we'd had... The only way to describe what would have happened is it would have been like having a living room with really, really, really bad feng shui. Nothing worked. Everything was a little...
Yeah, everything
got a little funky.
A little tilted.
And, yeah, so we were going to do a podcast like a month ago. And then figured, yeah, we might as well just have a redo.
Yeah.
Start over. And the first of the year, we'll start again. And we will do our once-a-week thing. And we'll
get back at it.
Try to continue to be awesome.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. I do have another podcast that I'll clip in that we did do a month or so ago with Jeff from Pew's Views. And that was pretty fun. It was a little impromptu get to know you thing. And we'll probably do another one of those, maybe from our side the next time. And that was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yep. So what are we going to talk about today, babe?
I know you had said something earlier that had sparked my interest, and I forgot what it was, because then I started talking about stuff, and you told me to shut my brain down because there was too much going on.
That's true. True.
I was like,
Yeah, because sometimes he's like, oh, this will be a great topic to talk about the podcast, and then he'll kind of waver into something else, and I'm like, oh, wait.
No, okay. Well, part of it was, there's a lot of people that do
Green Day.
Well, okay,
that was where it spurred from.
Where it spurred from, just because, like, no one can leave politics alone. everything's polarizing. Everybody's going to talk about it all the time. Like, I have been sucked into it into my life because I have a brain and I can see what's going wrong with the world, right? But um like everything now is like everyone's racist and everyone's a fascist, and if you're not for whatever, then you're just like the most awful person, and the gaslighting that's going on is so unreal.
Yeah.
It's like somebody being in a white car and somebody being in a black car screaming at me that they have a black car and that I'm in a white car. Like,
Exactly.
it's that seriously. I mean, maybe
Like,
bad choice of colors for that, but
oh,
just saying, like, it's just everything has gotten that reverse upside down stupid that,
for real.
I mean, I don't know. I think that for New Year's, can we do anything and just be happy and not talk about politics for a day? I think that's the one thing that's also stupid about America. So America has elections every 4 years that last for 4 years, every 4 years. Okay. So as soon as this election's
That is
over,
so true.
by the following day, all we're going to talk about is the following election for the next 4 years. It's like,
Yeah.
we got to somehow shut that down.
Yeah. That is so true.
Isn't
That's
it? It's
funny.
like always election year in America.
Yeah.
Always.
And that's to say, if the election even happens, there's so many things out there. Like, I was talking about this actually with our youngest, and he's 18 now, and he
19?
asked me,
Well, he'll be 19 in March.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, wait.
I'm like, wait.
But he asked me, like, why does politics always come up? Like, you know what's weird is when we first got together and, like, we didn't really talk about politics because it wasn't so huge in the media. Like, I think that, like, we went about our day, we did this, we did that. Like, it wasn't until, I don't know, what year was it that you lived with your parents when I was in Utah?
Oh, so this is the absolute, like, I'll just come out and say it now. Like, I mean, I think people need to speak the truth and everybody needs to, like, hear stuff, and it can't always be like, if you don't agree with me, you're a racist. It can't be that. But, like, I legitimately in 2008 thought that it was a horrible thing that Obama got elected. It had nothing to do with skin color. If you did any history on that gentleman, he was a big socialist. And I don't believe in socialism. And I don't believe that everybody went and died in all the world wars and how America was founded was like because eventually they wanted to be socialist. That's just not what has happened. Like, that shouldn't be that way. Right.
Mhm.
But
But
in
that's
2012 is when I went back to stay at my parents', or it was 2011. It was leading up to when Obama was getting reelected.
yes.
And that's when I was in AFN, and that's when
Yeah.
we had that album and Nothing We Trust coming out. And it was one of those things where I'm like, well, here you have a guy that could have done so much as a black leader in the black community
Oh,
in just proving everybody wrong.
yeah. Mhm.
Like, because obviously there's some people out there that would be like, well, I just don't even think that it's a good idea to have a black president, right? Like, just because there's some stupid people in the world. But
For sure.
what you do if you become the first elected black president is you prove everybody wrong. Like, he should have come in with like a Donald Trump attitude and been like, watch me fix everything. But the guy deep down inside hates America and caused more division and racial tension in his 8 years as president than any president ever has.
Agreed.
So that's kind of when everything started to get a little bit off the rails, because you could see I've been able to, I mean, I've had conversations with people for years and years and years, and I think it's funny. There's even people that I watch on YouTube and other podcasters and stuff, and people will be like, I just can't believe it. My eyes were so opened in 2020.
Mhm.
It took that? Like, really?
But even so, thank goodness something.
I mean, yes, no, for sure. But like, that's a huge kick in the balls is what you needed. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't need somebody to be like, hey, turn around and look over there and read that for a minute. It was
They're
like,
like
bam,
this.
right in the dick.
They're like this.
Doesn't it get like that Scooby Doo?
Yes.
Okay. So, and
For real. So, no, we were.
wow.
What I was getting at though is I said, yeah, we didn't really do whole politics when Dad lived with Grammy and Bappa for a little while. It became more prevalent. Like it was really pushed more in the media when Obama's second term and like all the conspiracy things started, and you could tell that the media was starting to really lean into the whole liberal thinking, and it just got so. And if you weren't paying attention, it just all of a sudden one day you're like, well, that's weird. Media's not. Um, it's all biased now. There's no. We're just reporting the news.
There's no actual journalism.
Yeah, but and then we started to see it with teachers at school, and I think we've talked about that before, where they were saying, "Oh, you need to vote for Obama." Like, wait a minute, like, what happened to? We get to choose. Like, that's not.
Well, and that's the thing too, is the indoctrination in schools. How the amount of progression that is actually regression that has been in the United States since 2008 is ridiculous.
Right.
Basically, I mean, people could be like, "Oh, it got better when Trump was elected," and whatever. Okay, fine. Like the economy was better and whatever, right? Like
Sure.
there were things that were better, but
Yeah.
in general, our whole entire political situation is just proven that everybody's evil on both sides of the aisle. Our government is 110% corrupt. We should all stop paying federal taxes.
Taxes are bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
the federal government is got themselves dug in such a deep hole, and the way that the Constitution was written, I think that probably most of the people that work in Congress, if it would have been up to the founding fathers, would be hanged for treason, because they've all been part of the corrupt situation that has to do with them gaining monetary value for themselves and not really giving a shit about the country.
Yeah.
And pretending to say, oh, this side's doing this, and then the other side being like, but the other side's doing that, and then the Republicans sit there and they'll talk a big game sometimes, and then they do nothing. Absolutely nothing. They've done nothing for like the last 20 years, at least 20 years.
For sure.
Nothing of any substance. But there needs to be a complete overhaul of our federal government. I don't believe that, like, at this point, we should almost just disband our military and have each state have its own
we should completely
military.
Wipe the slate clean. It's just really sad, and like you said with schools and stuff, it all kind of started with we're taking the Pledge of Allegiance away. We're taking,
Prayer out of school.
Prayer, and then handwriting, and getting rid of some history or rewriting history. Like, just what's happening right now? Like, so many things that kids are like, I never learned that in school. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, and people that don't learn history are damned to repeat it, and we're about to do that currently. And it's like no one actually got taught in history like what happened with Nazi Germany and all the craziness that is probably, the worst like genocide to a population ever.
Yeah. Well, and
like,
I mean, everything that's happened in the past, just in the past 3 years, like 2019, 2020, like, it's just, if you look back on it, unless something's wrong with you, there's no way you don't look back on it and go, that doesn't seem right. Like,
no, like
the beginning of it and the whole George Floyd thing, right? Like at first you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's horrible. This happened and these police officers and da da da." But then you start looking at it, like really looking at it and going, "Wait, George Floyd was not the greatest guy in the world. Of course, did he deserve to die? No. Was it the policeman's fault? No. Were they trained to do what they were trained to or what they were doing? Absolutely. Did but their chief lied and said, "No, we never trained that," which was complete BS.
Mm-hmm.
Um so if you've had a chance to watch or hear about the fall of what is it, Minnesota?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Wow. Minneapolis, Minnesota. But anyway, fall of Minneapolis. I'll link it in our description down below. It is very eye opening, and it really was a turning point of what happened and kind of where we're at now.
Well, there was that, and everything just comes down to that they want to, the powers that be, whoever they are, wherever they are,
Which we don't know.
want to establish racial division. They want anybody who says, "Oh, well, you don't want people coming in from other countries because you're racist and you hate them and whatever." It's kind of like, well, really, are you like paying attention to what's going on? Like, anybody that can go through the process correctly, I have no problem with. Nobody does. But should a country have a really big issue with a whole bunch of military aged boys and men showing up at our border without women and children
Right.
in hordes now, like
Mm-hmm.
literal thousands and thousands and thousands? And you want to say, "Oh, be nice to them." I'm sorry. There's probably a lot more of them that want to come here and do harm than you think. And if you want to keep your head buried in the sand, then I mean, you'll definitely probably end up getting what you deserve at some point, but you should open your eyes. And that's the thing, is part of our federal government's um, deal that they're supposed to do is to provide a
Protect
safe and
us.
secure border.
Yeah.
Like, constitutionally, they have to, but they're not. But where's anybody in Congress going, "Oh, it's clearly written on this old ass piece of paper, but this old ass piece of paper still means something because we're going to follow it." Like, that's the reason that it doesn't anymore, is because they don't follow it. But it would be like, you either fix this or you're going to have to go meet Jesus.
Or something like weren't you saying like it's an act of treason?
It is.
Like
It's
our governor here that the borders were left open and then she didn't do anything about it. Like, oh my gosh. It's just a whole thing. Like she should be
well, when you have
out
like
of office. I
when
don't
you have
know.
Abbott
Like,
in Texas going, "Now we're doing our thing and we're making it to where police can stop people and be like, 'Hey, pretty sure that you got over here illegally.'" They're trying to turn it into a big race thing. "Oh, now you're just going to see people and you're going to pull them over." And so now the federal government is like, "We're going to sue you people for trying to protect your border." So our federal government is going to sue one of our states because they're trying to keep illegal aliens, not immigrants, not people in the middle of crisis. I mean, yes, there's a crisis at the border, but
mm-hmm.
it is not necessarily people fleeing for the reasons that the news is making it out to be. And then you have you heard that John Schneider,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's his name, right? Dukes of Hazard.
Yeah, I think so.
He called out Joe Biden for that on X and said him and Hunter should be hanged for it, or him and Kamala Harris,
Yeah, for
or all
not.
three of them. Or I don't know. He put some tweet out there,
Yeah.
and
What's it called?
now they're
Tweet now?
having the Secret Service investigate John Schneider. Like, whatever happened when that one crazy freaking oh, what was that lady's name? She was a comedian, but she did some stuff trying to
Roseanne?
like do this painting
Roseanne?
about, huh?
Roseanne?
No, not
Oh.
Roseanne.
Yes.
She did some painting about the death of Trump, and then even Snoop Dogg did some video with like some gun, like showing to kill Trump. Like when he was president, no one cared. Everybody in the media laughed and clapped. One person says one thing now about Joe Biden, and Joe Biden wouldn't even know if you're talking about him, right? And they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna investigate you." It was like there's a dude, he was interviewed by Tucker Carlson. I watched this a couple months ago. There was a guy that did a tweet back in like when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were going against each other for president, and the day after Biden, or 2 days after Biden got inaugurated, like the people from Hillary Clinton's team like went after this guy, and they're trying to federally indict him, and he's facing 10 years in prison for writing a funny tweet making fun of Hillary Clinton.
See, that's crazy. Like, what happened to that? Like, comedians are that was like their bread and butter. Like,
This is just
politics.
some dude that, and he was like, he didn't even make this meme up. He saw it and reposted it.
Wow.
Like, so now
there's got to be something else he's doing they're scared of.
Well, I mean, anytime that you're on, like, anytime in history, when you're the side that is full blown speech suppression and trying to arrest everybody for like the silliest things, you're not on the correct side of history. I'm sorry.
Well, not even the silliest things. Like, you look at all the indictments with Trump. Like, why wouldn't they have tried to indict him way long ago? Why did they wait till now?
Well, no, I was watching some analyst, even a couple weeks ago, said, it'd be different if Trump had like one or two indictments.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like up to 70 or something,
it's insane.
That's why he's like, it's all crap.
Yeah. Because why try so hard? Like, for real. Like, and it's so sad. I mean, thank God. I would hate to be Trump or anyone in his family just for the ridicule. Like, to live like that every day would be horrible. But it's just so crazy. The whole thing is like, dude.
No, this is
but
absolute.
They all loved him previous to that. Like when he did what was the show he did?
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. And then he was with all those celebrities, and there's a ton of pictures you can find of him and celebrities being chummy and whatever. And then it's like all of a sudden, like, oh, he's running Republican ticket. Like,
well, no, it's because this is why. This is why.
Well, no,
it's still the thing. Everybody's still talking about it, but not as much. But so when Jeffrey Epstein offed himself, even though
he got now and then.
He got suicided. Well, you have the Maxwell chick.
Yeah.
In prison.
Mm-hmm.
In some resort prison. Right?
Some federal prison, yeah.
Okay. Watching Netflix and chilling.
She's in the mini Largo.
You can now go to freaking jail and Netflix and chill, dude.
I don't know about the chill part.
Whatever, but
I know they can Instagram and
they can't. They still don't have a list.
No, there's a list. It's just all been redacted.
Well, no, but who's on that list, dude? Just the flight logs.
Is like
some of
it, like if you can look up and look at some of the documents and the court documents or whatever, and they'll like have all these names redacted, like crossed out and whatever, but then certain names, like it'll just say Clinton or it'll say Trump, but it's so redacted you can't even tell what's going on in that. Like, really? And I don't know.
It's because, quite honestly, the world is being taken over by pure evil.
Oh,
and when
for sure.
the hearts of men become this evil, and everything is about money and power, it's like when people go, "Oh, well, see, there can't be a God or there can't be whatever," because, like, if there was a God, he wouldn't let this happen. No, because in the Bible it says, if you do this, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you watch history and whatever, it's almost like people have read it and been like, I'm going to prove it wrong. I'm going to go against everything the Bible says. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to prove you all wrong.
It's like
and the closer and
a
closer and closer it
scolded
gets.
child.
Yeah, it's like, we are. I guess that's why they say, the children of God. We act like little kids.
Yeah.
Do not stick your finger in the light socket. Mm-hmm. Lick it first. Lick it first.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I told you.
For real. I do think like a lot of people push it like, well, what's he going to do? If there was a God, he'd do something. If there was, he wouldn't let this person perish or this person do this or no, he's letting you play it out. Like that's just like you do with your own kids.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go out and ride your bike, you're taking a chance. You're going to teach them how to drive a car, you're taking a chance. You're going to tell them they can go out and do things, you're taking it, all of it. That's what this is.
It's the same thing when you tell your kids, don't smoke weed. And 3 or 4 months later, you catch them and you're like, dude, really?
Told you not to do that.
Told you not to do that. I won't do it anymore. A couple weeks later, dude, really?
Again, yeah.
We're just like little
but
kids.
But no, it's legal.
Right? I don't know. Just everybody, I just hope more people wake up and realize what's going on. And, I do not believe that, like Russia's right in any way for invading Ukraine and doing what they're doing, right? But I will say this, I do truly believe that all the money that we've given to Ukraine is like one of the biggest money laundering schemes in the history of the world. And the amount of money that our federal government has printed since 2020 is like, they've printed more money since 2020 than there was money before 2020, I believe is what it is. It's something like that. Like it's an apostrophe, like it is an impossible number. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the devaluation of that currently is not cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what we were going to also talk about was that we weren't going to, like, I'll sit here and talk crap about people all day for doing stupid shit, right? But
right.
I'm not going to sit around and, like, fearmonger or fear porn people and be like, it's going to be the end of the world. You need to light your hair on fire and run down the street and look like a crazy person.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say you might want to have some stuff laying around that is going to keep you prepared so that you can have water and food and stuff like that, because I personally believe in all that.
And if you believe in anything where anybody says, oh, they're pre-warning you on certain things and whatever, we may not be able to warn you either, because it could be true that they're going to be a whole cyber attack. So
yeah,
buy some maps.
Right. Paper maps.
If
you don't know how to read a paper map, learn how to.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there's certain things, like books you might want to buy, so that if there is no internet and you actually don't know how to plant any food, that you have a book that shows you how to do that.
Farmer's Almanac's always good.
Just saying, there's things that if you don't have your phone one day or for a week or say for even a month, the whole month, no internet, no phones, no nothing, right? You know how many people be losing their minds?
Yeah.
Can you imagine living in a city, being stuck in an apartment, and it's like that? When that's really like your whole only...
Yeah, your only social
means of
outlet.
Like you can't... I wouldn't want to just be like, well, if this sucks and I have no phone and no internet, I'm going to go outside and just walk around.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be safe.
You actually have to meet people.
And probably most of them would be super sketchy.
Yeah, well,
like it would turn into Mad Max in big downtown cities in like 3 days.
It'd probably be a little crazy.
And all the cops and all of everybody would be like, peace, I've got other stuff that I need to go do because I got a family and stuff, and this got a little bit.
Well, and if
super
you live
Western.
in big cities now anyways, the force, the police force, has gone down so low, anyways, that
But that's by
they wouldn't.
design.
I know that, but they wouldn't be able to help if something happened.
But that's what I mean. They've lowered the numbers so much that as soon as anything like that would happen, like the police would automatically feel so overwhelmed. I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to stand up and try to
for sure.
like. I mean, you'd be crazy, and there might be a few that actually are like, "Nope, this is my job, and I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to try to help people."
I'll
But
die doing it
most
for sure.
people, and like I said, I wouldn't even be judging them. Would be like, "No, there's like 100 of us, and like 3 million of them, and I think that we're gonna leave now."
Yeah. So there's a ton of things that like we've talked about and that we'd like to talk about. So definitely I'd like to dig deeper at one point with the whole Babylon thing.
Oh,
That
100%.
would be a good one. And then even if we wanted to dive into the prequeled things that are going on right now as
Oh,
far
with
as
the movies coming out,
yeah.
that's the thing too. Is you get the Obamas being executive producers on No One Left
Are
Behind,
they
or
both executive produced? We'll have to look
it
into that.
says Michelle and Obama,
But yeah, there's a
or
whole thing on that that I'd like to
Michael and
talk about.
Obama.
We have not watched it yet, but it's like
I'm
I
not going to.
see, and I'm on the fence on it because I want to be knowledgeable enough to talk about it, but I don't want to give to it, if that makes sense.
No, it's not even that. It's I how do I say this? Well, I mean, I do. Okay. So for a very long time, I've been somebody I think that would kind of feed on some of that stuff and be like, "Oh, I personally believe that it is watching some of that stuff and maybe becoming obsessed or having it get into your head to where you're constantly thinking about, oh my gosh, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh my gosh, I can't believe what could happen. Oh my gosh, if that did happen, like, I mean, yes, be prepared, right? Be prepared.
For
But
sure.
people shouldn't obsess over that stuff. And I think that there's
Well,
so much kind of weird, evil stuff that you could put into your head. And if you get a big enough group of people kind of constantly obsessing over it, that it could manifest into something that isn't really good for the world.
mhm. For sure.
But you have the ability to watch some stuff like that and then sometimes not get annoyed and angry. And
Oh,
I
I'm
sometimes don't have that ability.
100%. Like, because you do listen to more stuff, I think, and it's just a difference of the way you perceive things and like the way that your brain works. I'm able to be like, whatever. Like, we watch certain things and you'll be like, oh, why do they have to do that to this show? And I'm like, they did those things 10 years ago with a whole different reason. And now, like, what were we watching? But then you look back at stuff like we watched a portion of Dazed and Confused last night, and I've actually never seen that movie, which I was surprised
It's
at
a
how.
really new movie,
Yeah, when did that movie come out?
1993.
1993, and it's supposed to be like the 70s or
Yeah, it's
something, right?
1976.
But they're all like smoking weed. I mean, they're teenagers and whatever, and it's funny because I'm like, our parents had to have been like, you can't watch that movie.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying though, is the way that everything in society has become like,
But we didn't look. My point is, we didn't look at that movie and be like, oh, this is horrible. But now, as you're older, if that movie came out as a newer movie, you'd be like, this is awful. Why would they do that? Why would they portray it that way?
I still think it's one of the greatest movies because there's no cell phones in it. There's not one
That is,
cell
I
phone.
get that.
Okay,
Which
like
is what would happen
it's
if.
nostalgic for me to watch movies before cell phones. Like, you know how many cell phones I wanted to shove up people's butts?
Oh, I know. Pretty sure I'm one of those people.
I mean, they would have
'Cause
become like slot machines for days.
it's like
Dung,
this.
dung, 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 dung,
It's
dung, dung,
this
dung, dung.
love hate because obviously we run social medias where, you know, do
I'm
they?
very bad at it.
I
I
do
will
it.
absolutely admit to being bad at it. I have a
He's great at doing all the recording stuff and setting that all up and downloading it for me, and then I work on the editing part. But as far as like Instagram, Twitter, why do I keep saying that? TikTok, that's you like watching it, but you don't like editing it as much. I
no,
think.
I don't know. I just sometimes I get caught up in what I'm doing and I forget like, oh, somebody might want to watch me do this. But
Yeah.
I think I need to. I will start doing more videos out here on the property of, the way that we originally intended. We just have had a lot of stuff going on. I've
Yeah.
gotten all
And
out
then
of sorts
I'm
with
tossing
things.
around the idea of we we do live in our RV, right? But we live stationary on our property, and we are planning to erect our home and get all that built and get that all on video and whatever. So I'm tossing around the idea, because it's a new year, of changing our social media name from the Hills on Wheels to a Little Tilted Farm, because we're not moving anymore. So we are stationary.
I am fully aware of this.
But that's my, because so everything on the farm has a little smidge of a tilt to it. So our initial thought is our house is going to have one
Single slope roof.
thank you, a one slope, a single slope roof. Our pump house has that, and then when TJ put up the fencing around the garden, the entry gate kind of has a little tilt. And so
And it was one of the things, and I know that somebody on social media might be like, really? They repurposed that fence and that thing looks crooked, because it's totally crooked. But I went through and it was originally welded that way. And I would have had to go through a great deal of pain to like try to heat some of it up and do some things to try to even torque it so that I could cut off one end and make it square. So I kind of mocked it up the way it was and asked her like, are you cool with this, because it's gonna look like burnt? And she said, it's I love it. I'm like, fantastic, this is easier for
like
me.
everything else, like single slope, a little tilted, and it's what we are, a little tilted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little tilted.
And so people might say, oh, you're spelling it wrong, but we're
Because of
spelling
the L's.
the L's.
Oh dude, it
'Cause
kind of makes me go nuts.
Does it?
Oh,
But the T makes an H, I-L, and we're the hills. So
I
we're tilted.
oh god, you're gonna have to play this explanation for everybody so that they're not like, yep, there's some people that live on some property in the middle of nowhere in Arizona don't know how to spell.
It's like, hey, we live on our property.
Like, they must be MAGA. They can't spell. Bunch of racists. All their shit's gonna fall over. Everything's crooked.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
well, you know,
Horrible. Horrible.
it's cool.
It is.
Even bad press is good press. I'm fine with that. Bring it on, people. I don't know how to spell.
Oh goodness.
Oh, Gunner. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, we have a lot that we'd like to talk about. Faux show.
Oh, we'll get into most stuff, but today is New Year's Day, and I think that we have plans. And
We do.
yeah, well, I mean, I know that we do, but I'm just saying. This is a prequel for what's to come.
That's right. And
We haven't gotten funnier. We haven't gotten less funny.
but some of us have gotten cuter.
Wow.
The dog. I'm talking about the dog. Look at him. He's adorbs.
The dog.
All right.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been a minute.
It's been a long minute.
Yep. All right, you guys. We will see you next week.
Next time, Happy New Year.
Bye. And before you go, visit us on our social medias at Linktree/The Hills on Wheels, linktr.ee/The Hills on Wheels, no spaces.